It feels like this has taken an eternity, guys, and that's because, well, frankly, it has. We are entering almost the second full week of LeBron Watch, and Brian Windhorst, one of the most connected reporters in the game to LeBron James, was on with ESPN Cleveland Radio yesterday and gave an opinion that I wanted us to react to. He was asked, will fan influence play a role at all in LeBron's decision? At all. And this is what Wendy had to say. Let's take a listen.
It's a biblical story, okay? It's a biblical story. The prodigal son, in going to be a villain, is what they do in the WWE. What they do coming home to go home, winning in front of your family in your hometown, that's a biblical story. So the vibe about going and playing at home is always going to be more pleasing to the casual, to the casual observer. The people that hated him when he went to Miami loved him when he went to Cleveland. The casuals. If you're a Nuggets fan, you can present a 10-point plan on why Nuggets make sense. If you're a Sixers fan, you can do the same. If you're a casual, you're going to be more interested in wanting to come home. LeBron is somebody who has always paid attention to the casuals. So that's why the vibes are not insignificant.
Wendy said it, not me. LeBron has always paid attention to the casual fans. He alluded to the fact that it could be the prodigal homecoming story if he signs with Cleveland for a third time. So G, Zach, and G, we'll start with you. Do you think fan influence at all will play a role in LeBron James' decision on where he signs as a free agent this summer?
1,000%. 1,000%. It's the reason why he left Miami. It's the reason why he left LA. Is because he wants to be admired. And a lot of times, I'll compare it to this. You know, we just got done talking about our partying and hanging out days. If you've ever seen, you get your first job, you go away wherever it is at, and you get there and it's a little awkward start. You're like, I remember moving to Charlotte and being down there and looking around and just being like, it ain't the same. Your family is not here. Your friends that you hung out with aren't there. The timing, everything is a little weird. The culture is different. The climate is different. You just feel like you're kind of out of the place. And then you like looking for friends. You might run across a dude in the gym. He's just, like, he might be strong as you. And then you're like, hey, let's hang out. Then you hang out with him solo. And you be like, this is completely out of brown. We cannot hang out no more. And so what you start to feel is like, man, it don't do you no good to be successful or have your first good job or to have a little bit more money in your pocket and your fans, your family, your people that you grew up with that you want to share with the most ain't there. So for LeBron, I think at every single stop he's gone different places and he has to realize like, wow, this is the same as going home. And it's never going to be the same as you going home. I think he just gets reminded of that every 4 to 5 years. Like he just figures it out. As he's sitting there being like, man, this would be great if I broke the record when I was at home. But yeah. I think it plays a role, Zach.
At the risk of being wrong, which I've only been wrong once or twice before, the only way I know how to analyze this is that LeBron would not let it go this far if he wasn't coming back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Not just a fan, but sentimentality, just fit, just basically everything you said in a slightly different package. And the only other thing I would say to that, G, is that gives him a little bit of leverage, and that we know if he's going to sign for the mid-level, the Cavs have to make moves. Mm-hmm. But if the Cavs know that keeps the pressure on him. So he remains a free agent to keep the door cracked, but also keeps the pressure on them. Guys, I want this to happen. You want this to happen. This needs to happen. So make these things happen, and that's the way he wields influence.
Yep.
Hopefully, we got months to talk about how much influence he really wants or needs in the organization at this stage of his career. But right now, I think he's holding a lot of it.
Yeah. He has a lot. There's no doubt about the fact that he has a ton of leverage. And I think your point about him leaving LA because he never felt fully accepted in LA. He never got the dues he thinks he was deserved for bringing a championship to LA. It's still Kobe City. It will always be Kobe City. He won't be remembered as an all-time great Mount Rushmore Laker, even though he probably deserves to be on there considering he's the second best or best player in the history of the NBA. He delivered a championship. He signed with them. He stuck it out for 8 years. He's been in LA for 8 years, guys.
Crazy.
8 years. But to answer the question if I think fan influence will have an impact or not, I don't know how to answer that until I see what he actually does. Because there's a chance, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he ends up signing in Cleveland, but let's say he signs with Minnesota. fan influence in Minnesota is not having any impact on his decision. If he goes to
Yeah.
Denver, I think he'll be choosing the best path to play with certain individual players like a Jokic, like an Edwards, that he would want to team up with in one last pursuit of a championship, or Golden State with Steph and Draymond, as opposed to the better basketball fit, which would be Cleveland, Philadelphia. Miami's a whole different circumstance. But I don't know if it has an impact until he actually makes a decision, because I could still see him going in a number of different ways. I think it ends up being Cleveland when it's all said and done. But if he signs with Golden State, it's not going to be because Golden State fans were begging LeBron to come up north, take the coastal high, whatever the California coast, the Pacific Coast Highway up north. I don't even think it runs to Golden State, but San Francisco, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. Cleveland fans want him back. You walk around town, everyone you ask, would you take LeBron back? 1,000% it is a yes. I'm not sure it's the same reaction in Minnesota, Denver, Golden State, some of these other teams that he may or may not be considering. If he comes to Cleveland, yeah, I think fan impact did have a slight role. If he goes somewhere else, I think this is Windy just trying to put together things that he believes without actually having dead set info from the LeBron James camp.
I kind of, this is weird. I kind of compare it to when I was getting recruited out of high school. You know, there's a lot of other bigger schools that recruited me. And then, like, you get to the recruiting process and they bring you in based on where they want you. So back in the day, if you was in the first 2 recruiting weeks, they want to get you in. All my recruiting visits is like 4th, like Wisconsin or Michigan, 4th or 5th, like the 4th or 5th week or whatever. And so as you start to figure it out, you're like, man, you know, there's teams that would say, okay, we want this guy from this state. And then they would like, okay, well, cool. We want him first. He would commit. And then you'd be like, okay, they'll verbal commit. And they're like, okay, well, we'll keep you on the back burner a little bit. So I remember just being like, mad and being like, so we went to a bunch of visits. The first visit I went to was OU. And when I got there, it was crazy because Jim Grove was the coach. And he said, look, you can go there and sit 2 years and wait for the guys ahead of you, or you can come here and you are our number 1 recruit. Like, we don't care nothing about no. And when I came back and the recruiting magazines was saying, so where you going? I was like, I'm going to OU. They were like, oh, Ohio State, they weren't on the list. I said, no, OU. They're like, Oklahoma, University, you're Oklahoma. We didn't have you. I said, no, OU. They're like, why? Why would you, hold on. You do know you're rated a certain position, right? Why would you go to that school? And I explained to him exactly what I feel goes on with LeBron. You want to go where somebody wants you.
You want to feel loved. You want to be loved.
You go with the girl. If you want relationship issues and you want a relationship advice out there, date somebody that likes you. Because if they already like you, it's half the battle. That means you can get 5 to 10 pounds heavier. You might fall off a little bit. But if they start at a 10,
why'd you put me on camera with that, Steve? What the heck are you trying to say?
Listen,
all that Taco Bell.
If you start at a 10 and they love you to death, and you fall off, you may even get laid off from your job, you always gonna fall at a solid 8. And a solid 8 is still, I love you guys. I love you for who you are.
A solid 8 could be another girl's dream.
That's her dream dude, right? Now, if you start off with your dream girl and she started off like you done wore her down, you've been putting in work, she starts you at a 7.5. That's winnable.
Yeah.
But let you get laid off. Let you gain any weight. Let her just wake up in a bad mood. You go from a 7.5 to 5. That's a failing grade. You're done. Go with the girl that likes you.
This goes back to 1999 when Bob Huggins showed up to watch LeBron and said, I'm not going to recruit him. And his coach said, why? He said, why? I'm wasting my time. We're not getting him. He's going to the NBA. So you go to 2010 when we spent a week standing on the sidewalk down at the IMG building and standing on a sidewalk outside at Akron U, right? He was being recruited then. And then in 2014, he was being recruited while secretly mending fences with the Cavs. Mm-hmm. But now he's like recruiting everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
It's flipped, right? Like he is at a different place. It's such a unique place. We've never had a guy. I mean, guys have played into their 40s, but not with this kind of prestige level.
He's one of one in that regard.
One of one. Yeah. And so he's looking and saying, it's quite obvious to me and everyone else that the best place to finish this incredible story is at home. I just need the right way to do it. I need to know it's going to work because there might be better basketball places. Mm-hmm. But the Cavs are on that list.
They're not a bad
fit. We thought all along, hey, the Cavs make sense, but He might not want to come home for whatever reasons, which happens. It might not, the money might not be right. The situation might not be right. But now we're waiting, LeBron, and we're tired of waiting. And the obvious answer is right in front of all of us.
I just thought of this as we were having this discussion. We know LeBron wants to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically said that out loud. Like, he is a guy that did not embrace being the villain when he went to Miami.
Yeah.
That was not the right mental and healthy mind state for him to be on, to be at his best. When he came back to Cleveland, won a championship, then left for LA, I don't think there was a ton of hard feelings because he did what he said he was going to accomplish, which was bringing a championship to Northeast Ohio. He did that. He felt he had accomplished it. This time around, now that there's so much speculation tying LeBron back to Cleveland for round 3, knowing how much LeBron wants to feel and wants to be loved and embraced by this home market, by this home city fan base, by the Cavaliers as an organization, if he ends up signing with Philadelphia or Miami or Golden State, do you think Cleveland fans will turn on LeBron? It feels like his approval rating right now in Cleveland is pretty high. But the whole bait and switch, if he were to,
they're gonna be hot.
he were to
They're gonna be hot.
lead them on, make them miss out on all these other free agent opportunities, make them put their entire offseason plan on hold just to spur them at the last minute and sign elsewhere,
They're gonna be hot.
do you think Cleveland fans would? What percentage of Cleveland fans who currently like LeBron would turn back into LeBron haters if that's the outcome?
Well, there's always, Wendy talked about the fringe. The fringe, 25%. That's scalable. Like, so that 25%, they're up out of here. There would be some people that supported him that I would say about another 25% that would be salty about it, but they would eventually get over it or whatever the case may be. And then there's the diehards, just like 25% that they just be like, no, it's LeBron. He went to another place.
Yeah.
I'm always respect him for winning the championship.
Yeah, there's percentages, everything. There's a faction of people in Akron that will always be there for LeBron. And there's probably a faction of the hardest hardcore Cavs fans who wear Bobby Sura and Manny Harris's personal disappointment.
Manny Harris.
Man, what a poll.
What?
What a
Right.
poll.
But there will be the larger faction that says, hey, we're done with this dude. Like, he was always high maintenance and it was great, but man, you did this to us again. Like, move on, run along. We're cool. So, yeah, I think he understands that. I just think, look, his life is different. The people around him is different. Everything has changed. He did come back and win. So he doesn't need to do this.
Nope.
Right.
This isn't the final validation. He's been to the mountaintop. He's brought the Cavs to the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see any sense in dragging this out if it doesn't result in all of a sudden he pops up somewhere or a video pops up somewhere that's, I'm home. And leave me alone at Firestone. Right, and I'm still going to be in LA when I have to be or when I can be, but I'm home, and there's going to come a time in early 27 when we get down to basketball.
Don't be a successful guy. Go to your class reunion, and the girl that you always liked is sitting there. She's single, but she's not the girl you used to do. Do not lead her on.
No.
Do not sell her no dreams to me, Nuggets. Just say hi and bye, and don't do that.
And you got a question, then we'll take a break and we'll get back. What's your question?
Yeah, we were talking about Cleveland fans, and every other option, fans seem to already have a guy on their team that they'll root for, like Steph. You're going to have Giannis in Miami. Philly, our fans may be a little over Embiid. Would they embrace LeBron? Would Philly fans really bring him in?
I mean, I think Embiid's probably their third favorite player right now.
Yeah.
It is Maxi's
it was just the
team.
first
It is
name.
Maxi's franchise. And Edgecombe with the rookie season he had last year, I think catapulted ahead of Embiid because of all the roller coasters you've taken with Embiid. The fact that he just can't stay healthy when you need him to stay healthy, I think a lot of Philly fans are already out on him. I don't think any fan base would fully embrace him like Cleveland would. Like
No.
that's the difference. Cleveland, full arms, you will be welcome back. And even if Donovan's technically better, and at this stage of his career, Evan Mobley's probably a better 82-game player than LeBron is.
Sure.
It's still LeBron. This is still the franchise he delivered a championship to.
Right.
He would be the face. He would be the guy that everyone talked about in a way that it may not be in Denver or Minnesota where it's Anthony Edwards teams, or if it's Miami with Giannis. Cleveland is the only place I think he would still be the number one attraction, even if he's not their number one player.
I totally agree. Like, I think for a while, he felt like those days were done. I told Jason the same thing. I thought he looked at it like, me being the focal point of the NBA is finished. Luka came to LA. There's Wemby. There's Ant. There's all kind of other guys, Tatum and guys like that. But the problem is those guys still don't have the cachet that he has in Cleveland. Because in Cleveland, it's magnified by 2.
He's 101.
So now he gonna get the stimulus package. And I think he realizes that a little bit too.
He has to. He has to. He's
Not a dummy.
no. And he's lived it. He didn't want to be the enemy. You said that.
Mm-hmm.
He went through it. He wanted to get away. He didn't want it to go a certain way. He wanted to come back. Remember that time. He was playing 47 minutes and 22 seconds in the playoff games. It's a totally different role. It's a totally different life. It's a totally different place in life. He can come back. He can be welcomed back. And I think the winning it obviously makes it the best story ever, but that's just icing on the cake.